Hello, and welcome to the Introduction to Rendering tutorial. Here we will quickly get a brief on how to make simple but rich graphical output using ready drag-and-drop presets and libraries. So let's get started. We'll start with the interior project found in the Recent File section of the pop-up menu when starting Composer. Now I'll change the default material on the wood. Follow along if you want. Notice this may take a while. I prefer a faster method. Let's go ahead and open the Scene Materials panel. Honestly, there are many different ways to assign materials. We can select all of these by holding the Control key, or we can simply drag and drop materials in the panel onto one another. I guess I missed that spot. There we go. So now to quickly do a preview render, just press F4 on the keyboard. Notice we have a sun lighting with this project. Let's go ahead and examine different lighting methods. Open the Rendering Workbench in the Environment Task tab. We will uncheck the sun light source and check the HDR instead. The background is the solid color. I will turn that off from the Background Task tab. Alright, now we can simply drag any HDR directly from the library below. We can tweak the power of the brightness parameter over there. In addition to all that, we can add reflections and shadows simply by checking them. We can tweak the parameters to suit our preferences. We can do the same for the shadows as well. Let's turn off all of those for now and proceed to the Background Task tab. Backgrounds can simply be dragged into the scene. We can pick different solid colors as well. Spherical backgrounds are plain ones. Now let's add a different source of lighting to our scene. First, let's turn off the HDR lighting and take off the background image. Now we will go to the Scene Building workbench in the Light Task tab to add an area light. Here are different types of scene lightings. Let's go with the area light. Transformations can be applied in these different types of lights. So let's go ahead and move it. Press 2 on your keyboard to drag. Press 3 to scale. Let's increase the light power from the right panel. Now we will duplicate this area light and drag it to another side. Enter 100. Now I will create a nice rendering. Feel free to follow along. While we're at it, let's learn a little about the effect we have on our rendering shots. Go to the Image Effects Task tab. There is nothing really to explain in the effects. It's as easy as clicking. Now look at these rendering statistics. There are 3 important parts. SPP stands for sample per pixel. This can be used to know the quality you've reached. The FPS, or frames per second, helps to calculate how much time it will take to complete the rendering. Finally, we have the image size. Always pay attention to see that this number fits your desired output. However, you can change the SPP or the image size from the Output Image Task tab. Now we'll finish off by discussing the different types of renderings. Let's go to the Render Task tab. The first icon is the Preview Render. However, you can save an output using any other type. The Clay mode is to study the lighting in your scene thoroughly. The Fixed Render function will continue rendering until you decide to stop it. This function uses the output image size selected or entered. The next rendering mode is to File, which is similar to the previous one, except it will quit when it reaches a certain SPP. This is mainly used for rendering multiple frames. The last rendering type is scene states, which is suitable to save time when rendering prototypes with different lighting, angles, and materials. The last thing before wrapping up this tutorial is capture image. This icon is what you will use to save your images. That's all for this tutorial. Thanks for watching.